Did that work? Zencaster always mostly works. Welcome to the Get Offset podcast. My name is Emily.
And my name is Andrew.
And we're here today with Steve Selvidge from The Hold Steady, most notably, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, coming at us from a room full of guitars in Memphis, I assume?
Maybe in Memphis. I could be somewhere else. I don't know. I'm not telling. How's it going, y'all?
It's going. You know, it's a beautiful, crisp day in Seattle. Yeah. Not wet yet.
It's raining here. Or it's been raining.
Oh, is it?
It's lovely and overcast. I kind of like it, but it's warm. It's warm. It's like it's very cold in New York, but it's very warm here. Or warmish.
How warm is it?
It was in the 70s yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. I grilled some ribeyes and some shishito peppers.
Ooh.
It was
nice. Great. That sounds great, honestly.
That sounds like the life.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? I hadn't grilled in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good to do it. I've got this coffee based dry rub that I do on ribeyes, and it's really good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what kind of grill do you have? Because this is actually, we talk about this on the podcast a lot, grilling these days.
Weber kettle.
Nice.
Weber.
Yeah, classic. You know.
Yep.
But it's got the instead of just the saucer, it's got the catcher. You know.
Yeah.
That is an incredible pain in the ass to get on and off.
Sure.
You know,
it helps with airflow so much.
Yeah. I don't have a deal with Weber, so I can say that they're not. You know. But you know,
I can't trash talk Traegers. That's the rule.
Yeah. I can.
So what are y'all grilling with?
I have a Traeger 575 Pro.
I I gotta look that up. I don't know what that is.
It's a wood pellet grill, but I've done some work for them. So it's an outdoor oven. Yeah.
Is it like
but it makes really great pulled pork. It makes really great chickens.
That's right. That's right. You're Southern, right? You're from Kentucky.
I'm from Ohio, but like I have lots of family in South Carolina that I was always very, very close with.
Okay.
And I lived in Nashville for 8 years.
You lived in Nashville for a while. I don't know how I got that you lived in Kentucky. That's craziness.
Well, Cincinnati's basically Kentucky North.
Yeah, sure.
Because if you played Cincinnati, have you played the Southgate House? Did you ever play the Southgate House when I was? Of course. What a beautiful old fire trap of a room.
Street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I played the big room. I played the tiny room. I fucked up I cut myself so bad loading up those stairs to the small, it's like you're playing in someone's
I've had friends do record releases in that room, and it is a hike.
That's the big joke that I've been making. Like when we did these Brooklyn Bowl streaming shows for the UK, like, you know, my dad joke is like, well, I've certainly played to nobody before. So they played to an empty room or whatever.
Yeah, man. Though I don't know what's worse, like playing did you ever play the High Watt in Nashville? It's like the Mercy Lounge, but up another floor.
Oh, is that the whole cannery, like the complex?
Yeah, the cannery facility.
I think I played all the rooms in there as well.
Oh, yeah. I saw Craig in the High Watt once.
Yeah.
And it was a well attended show, but I remember thinking, and I hate to load drums up this or like a big amp.
Yeah, I played
the Mercy, and that was enough for me.
Is the cannery the big room?
Yeah, the big first floor room, and then there's the Mercy on the second floor with the pool table in the back, and then there's a High Watt at the top.
Yeah, I think I did. It must have been Bash and Pop that did the Mercy.
That sounds like appropriately sized. Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the olden days.
The old
when
days
we did
Nashville.
Shows.
Yes. The before times.
But you've still played a couple of shows, albeit for virtual audiences, and I just watched a bunch of them. Was that last weekend? Was that just last weekend or 2 weekends ago?
Wow. This time last week, 12:30. I was probably playing a stream for like a radio station or a farm in Auckland or something. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
that was last weekend.
Oh, it was the sound check this time last week.
That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah.
We were sound checking. I mean,
nice.
I was probably listening to the dulcet tones of Rob Sheffield.
Oh man, that guy's mask just barely fit on that face.
Because his smile is so big. Because he's such an awesome person.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, I remember when I met my now husband, one of the first things I did was I handed him a Rob Sheffield book.
Nice.
I was like, I really like this book. I think you would like it. And I was like, and then he read it and he had things to say about it. And I was like, that's a man who reads. That's a winner.
Snag.
Mm. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was just doing something and I found this random washer on the ground and now I'm worried about what instrument or what it came from.
Oh man, maybe somebody Ford versus Ferrari'd you. Sorry. I just watched that movie.
Nice.
I watched the first 20 minutes of that, I think.
Yeah.
In a hotel room last year with someone I know who was staying in the next room over who had pirated a copy. And so it kept skipping chunks of scenes.
Oh, wow. I've seen it on the plane. I watched it on the plane on the way home last weekend. And I've watched that movie a lot. I like it a lot.
Good.
I mean, I know ultimately it's just a buddy pick, but I think Christian Bale's great. And I'm a fan of Matt Damon's. Matt Damon. Yeah. I like racing too. I've been a racing fan since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
what kind of racing do you like? Like NASCAR or like F1, IndyCar?
I like SCCA. I like NASCAR, actually. I was into NASCAR before when it was still when they showed it on the Nashville network or whatever.
Oh, TNN, yeah.
In the 80s, I haven't followed it in years, since it got so big, but
yeah. What I love about NASCAR is that it's a soap opera, but fast.
Well,
that's how they hook people.
I mean, the whole thing is just a bunch of rednecks turning left. It's like, that really does not take into account the fact that everybody's given the same thing, and it's how you fucking cracker ass shade tree mechanic it, to get the most out of it, and then the way you drive, And
Have you ever watched a chump car race?
A what?
Chump car. It's like I think it's like the rules are you have to have bought the car. You have to have bought the car for $600 or less.
Oh, I love it.
So there's just all these junky cars racing around VIR, Virginia International Raceway they used to be a client of mine. So then I always loved posting about the chump car because it was the fun pictures.
Wow, I got to check that out.
It's pretty funny.
I liked NASCAR. I liked NASCAR as a kid until it betrayed me.
What happened?
How did it betray you?
Show me how NASCAR hurt you.
It's related to all of this and my hat and I chose my favorite racer when I was a kid purely based on color.
Right.
Happened to be Tony Stewart because he was sponsored by Home Depot, was driving an orange car.
Right.
And as I grew older and learned more about the kind of man that Tony Stewart is, I then realized I made a terrible choice.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Tony Stewart.
I don't either. But I can imagine, given the demographics of a lot of people in NASCAR, I could probably see where you're going with that.
I mean, he allegedly intentionally ran over a coworker, or not coworker, a fellow racer that he had a problem with on the track. Yeah,
that guy. Yep. Yeah. He killed that guy, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a NASCAR race. That was some weird midnight oil kind of race.
Something like that. He put the dude into the side on the first lap and came back around, and as the dude was getting out of his car, clipped him.
Oh, I remember.
Well, actually, the guy was walking toward the car and on the track. He was trying to be a big man, it looked like to me.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyways, allegedly, according to his lawyers, I'm sure it was an accident. But I long before that incident had realized that I don't. So that is how I both fell in love with NASCAR and fell out of love with NASCAR, purely based around my love of the color orange.
Well, orange is tricky, man. How do you feel about Days of Thunder?
Days of Thunder, the movie?
Yeah, it's Top Gun with cars.
I don't think I've seen it.
I haven't seen it. Is it a Paramount movie? Because I feel like it was a Paramount movie.
I don't know.
I feel like there was a ride about it at the Paramount theme park where I worked.
It's a movie that an old person like myself had seen. Probably.
Days of Thunder.
It's Tom Cruise.
1980.
I think it's the first movie with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. It's where they met, I believe.
Weirdly, apparently a lot of people search for Days of Thunder like in February, the week of February 14th. So I wonder what happened that particular week that everyone was searching for Days
Valentine's
of Thunder
Day?
on Google.
Yeah, they wanted to see that sweet Kidman Cruise love on Valentine's Day.
I think I may be... yeah, sure. One of my favorite pictures is her singing and dancing to herself while she's leaving her lawyer's office after signing the divorce papers to Tom Cruise. She's just jubilant. This is a guitar podcast.
Yeah, I know. There's guitars behind me.
So, Steve, what's new with you?
What's new with me? Well, I'll show you the newest thing. The absolute newest thing is this.
You finished it.
I finished it.
Nice. For those listening at home and not watching on YouTube, Steve has a beautiful what was that Fiesta Red?
Yes, it is.
Telecaster?
Yeah.
Nice.
Because
tell us about it.
Well, 2 years ago, if you followed me on Instagram, you remember that I built, with the help of my guitar guy in town, I built this Sonic Blue Telecaster. Mm-hmm. And I love it so much. And immediately upon, bonding with it, I was like, I want to look at this next to a Fiesta Red Telecaster. This begat this. Like, I was like, this is like the happiest thing in the world to me.
Nice.
I have this thing.
It's so beautiful.
I mean, I'm sure I'm not unique, but I had this thing in my brain where I'm obsessed with things that are the same thing in different colors.
Sure.
Jordans.
Yeah.
Going straight for the jugular there, Emily.
the jugular Jordan.
What? That was not an insult.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
That is fair.
Skateboards. I'm gonna get up and
Boss pedals.
Boss pedals. Oh, I just like these things, yeah,
skate decks.
I just reorganized my pedals. I just totally just rammed a piece of plywood into the top of this shelf so I could get another shelf. So I had more room because my pedals were just in a pile.
Yeah, I need to sell some because I'm out of shelf storage and I'm kind of running out of cabinet storage, and I have them all kind of the rest are kind of in a bar cart situation.
I have moved some pedals recently for that very reason. I bought that Dirty Little Secret and I liked it, but it was just redundant in terms of what I had. And I think I was trying to fund this Telly build, probably.
What you got in that guitar as far as pickups?
Lawler Telly Specials. Pretty much my go-to. I've got that in both of these guitars, and I've got this thing, all 9 pounds, 15 ounces of it.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, we were just talking about that guitar last week.
Yeah.
Was that the one we were talking about, actually?
Were we? No. That's the Deluxe.
No.
That's the the 73 Telly Deluxe. But anyway, 1976. These pickups are shit. I put a Lawler in it.
Yeah.
But you didn't replace the wide range humbucker, did you?
Oh, no.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, this guitar is everything that people said was wrong with CBS Fender. It's got a thick ass polyurethane finish. It is literally almost 10 pounds. It's the heaviest guitar that I own. And this is one of the best sounding guitars I have. In terms of meat and potatoes rhythm tracks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This thing sticks to tape I mean, it's insane. Or sticks to hard drive.
Yeah, I guess sticks to tape is not the go-to method of sticking things anymore.
Depends on where you are. If you have a budget, you can stick to tape, but
tape's expensive, man.
Don't I know?
Yeah.
You know, tape's expensive. It takes up a lot of space. You know, once again,
it has to be kept. It has to be kept just right.
Actually, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, you should, but like, it's also historically so far to date the most durable medium there is. Huh. I mean, I have, you know, because I am of a certain age and have been doing this for a certain amount of time. Like, I've got so much like records of 2-inch, you know, and they're all in storage, you know, but and they're all fine. Now, I did a record with a band in the early 2000s, and I would be very surprised if that Lossy hard drive would spin up right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I'm sure
you put it all in the cloud.
Yeah, Jesus. So yeah, tape. It's crazy. I was doing a bunch of transfers a few years ago when I did a reissue of one of my dad's records, and I was doing transfers for that record, but my dad had just died, so I had we were cleaning out stuff, and I had all his tapes going back to the 60s. And first of all, sidebar, tape from the late 70s, early 80s is notoriously shitty. They tried to do a new emulsion formula that was supposed to be lower noise. It was lower noise, but it does not last. It's like if you have tape from a certain era, just like sometimes you can't bake it enough. It's just like it just sheds right off. But anyway, I pulled up one 4-track, 1-inch 4-track reel that was engineered by John Fry at Arden on Scotch 4-track on a Scully through and it's fucking bulletproof, man. Like it sounded like whatever. It sounded like a CD or better, like it was so pristine. And like that tape was from 1966 and it had just no problem,
That gives me more hope for those Prince vaults, man. Because I heard that they were not kept in good condition.
Yeah, I think you should probably be okay. I think they'd figured all that shit out. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the stuff from the 80s is probably
early 80s might be a little dicey, but
yeah.
But by the mid 80s, I think they'd figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, they've released some good stuff, so obviously they figured something out.
Right.
Nice.
Did I tell you that I held one of the Cloud guitars?
Did you see me tweeting about the Cloud guitars?
I did. I can't.
How small are they? Are they so small?
I mean, they're regular scale length or whatever.
Yeah, but the bodies are so small. Is what I've always heard. I've never held one. I
didn't find it to be. I've got a picture. I'm not supposed to show the pictures.
Yeah, that's kind of the rule. You can text it to me. I won't spread them around. Oh. Is that the white one?
Yellow.
Ooh, yeah. I like the yellow. The peach. I love the peach one though, man. Because Sign of the Times is such a great record.
Okay, so I have it. All right. I have a question. I've always thought about this.
All right.
Was he thinking about his color scheme for the tour and the record while he was writing the record?
I think so. I think for Sign of the Times he was.
Do you know what?
Why?
Because you got the look, right? The Color Me Peach and Black, Color Me Taking It Back.
So that's, his then fiance's favorite colors were peach and black.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know he was thinking about that when he wrote that line. The dress that Cat Glover wears on the cover of that record was originally Susanna Melvoin's.
Uh-huh.
So, and it was a peach dress. So obviously he'd had this whole vibe definitely set when he, at the very least, started tracking these songs.
Yeah.
Or tracking the record, I think so. Oh, man.
What a great
Sign of
record.
the Times, such a good record.
Yeah.
Andrew's over there somebody talk to me. What's new with you, Andrew?
No, I'm fascinated. I hadn't considered that as a question before. So what's new with me?
That was Prince, though. What is that? Oh, it's your green screen. Andrew's got a green screen.
All right.
What I need to do, Andrew, is I need to get a good picture of this background so I can align it just right to make it look like you're like over here somewhere.
Yeah, that take the picture with your webcam and then 5 minutes in OBS and you'd be all set. I mean, I really have no excuse for not having had it set up this morning. I meant to do it, and I decided being relatively on time was more important than showing up with a green screen.
Well, it turns out I was up with my tech issue. So,
well, I still had to finish eting. There was that.
Yeah, you. Well, I mean, yeah, you apparently are a very slow eater.
I mean, that admittedly was a lot more potato than I thought it was, in terms of ratios. Anyways,
okay.
But yeah, so I got the green screen, got it from our friend Guan Cheng, who I met at the Hold Steady show.
The one who knows you as a little buddy.
Yeah, I met her at the Hold Steady show. I don't want to say a couple years ago, but a year and a half ago now.
2019, right?
Yeah, 2019.
Would have been 20. Like August, September 2019.
Yeah,
I'm glad I got it out before it moved.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we met him at that show, and then a couple weeks after the show, I went to go start my new job. I'm like, you look familiar.
That guy's familiar looking. Yeah.
So he sold it to me on the Friends deal.
Nice.
And I set it up the other night, had a little bit of fun with it, and yeah, I'll have to have some fun with it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving all of everything that's in this room to another room in the house sometime in April, and I might have to set that green screen up behind me more permanently.
Nice.
So we'll see. I don't know.
That's cool.
I don't set plans. It'll just be fun. Endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities. People always ask me if my background is a green screen, so then I have to go and interact with it, like on Zoom calls and stuff. Ooh, interactions.
You know what you should do? Oh, Emily, you know what you should do is you should take a photo of that background and make it a patron tier to get access to the high, so people can use as their Zoom background.
Should I make a $2 tier and try to get all those $1 tiers, the $2 tiers?
There you go.
Double your investment.
They can use it for their day job.
Yes, please support us at patreon.com/getoffset. I'm pretty sure I need to thank some people.
Let's thank people.
Let's thank some people.
We're thankful.
Shout out on the show. Eat, do. Stephen Gridley, thank you. All right.
Is that Stephen with a PH or a V?
What?
Is that Stephen with a PH or a V?
I have already marked it complete. I think it.
I should know this because I'm friends with him.
Matt Williams, $1 a month. Thank you. Mel Marie Dupree's €5 a month. Thank you. Philip
Euros.
Carter.
I dig it.
What's Philip Carter's from the 40 Watt podcast? Thank you. Russell, no last name. Thank you.
It's
Joe
Wilson.
Heisey.
It's definitely Russell Wilson.
What if it's Russell Brand?
Oh man, I would not be as happy with that. I'd be like, you should be giving me more money. You can afford it. Joe Heisey, thank you. Mike Priorie, Priori. And someone whose username is Granap. If that is you, I sent you a message because you need to get an invite to our Discord server. We have a patron-only Discord server at the $5 a month and above tier, and it's a lot of fun. And you get to hear me talk about how I cried because I realized I would never... I realized I missed an opportunity to buy a guitar I really wanted. And then I didn't. Steve's jamming. What amp was that through?
It's my Harmony H410A. I've had it literally since my dad got it, possibly before I was born. It's been like, there's probably like little desiccated kitten turds from when we had kittens as a kid. And sometime around 1986, I drew a corrosion of conformity skull on it. It's one of my favorite amps. It's so good. It's a total tweed champ killer.
Yeah.
It's a bold statement.
I'll stand by it. I'm not in the Ripper channel right now, but I don't know what it'll sound like over the whatever speakers.
Only one way to find out.
It's probably blown out, but wow.
We're just like looking at the waves. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it's almost noon here. Whatever.
Yeah, man. Fun
stuff. Man, again, to sticking. I have recorded on tape with that amp, and it's just like it sounds so massive.
Nice.
Which is the way with small amps anyway.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of the one speaker phase, lack of phase cancellation.
I got this guy from Harmony.
Oh, nice.
It's cute. I like it. I haven't played through it in a while, but when I did play through it, I played through it with this that was just announced on the day that this episode drops.
Oh, look at that.
It's the Fender Acoustasonic Jazzmaster.
Well, howdy.
And I gotta say, it's a lot of fun. This video contains sponsored content.
That was my sponsored content music. I don't know if you can hear it.
I could. It's really cool because it has this multiple voice little selector here. Let me pull up the notes on it. And then this tone knob is actually a blend knob between each of the different sounds for each pickup position. So you have the rosewood dreadnought, and then you turn it, and it sounds more like a mahogany slope shoulder. There's also a mahogany jumbo sound, all mahogany small body, rosewood auditorium, body sensor pickup, so you can get some percussive stuff in there.
Oh,
there's a lot.
Andy DeFranco.
Yeah, and then or Khaki King, maybe.
Khaki King,
dude, if only. She's a genius. And then you just got some more electric sounds here. So
I'm kind of contemplating what life would be like if I played. I was thinking about building an offset and playing one with the hold steady.
Oh,
I feel like I've never seen an offset get like 6-string on stage with the hold steady.
I played one in London.
You did?
Yeah.
Which most recently?
2019, I think.
What was it? What did you play?
It was like a MIJ, I think. It was in bad need of a setup. Mike needed to get a hold of it.
Our good friend Mike Adams.
Made it perfect.
Yeah, yes. I enjoyed that. I was like shouting at my computer and like drinking beer and eating snacks. It was great. I had a lot of fun. Shout out to Mike.
Mike Adams is the best, man.
Yeah.
He's a gem.
But yeah, I was thinking about getting some Novak wide range guys, and I mean I've got 2 of those Squier Mascus.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about building. I don't know if it would work or not for the hold steady, but
I could see it working.
Yeah,
I could see it working. I think that'd be fun.
So Novak's got the wide range. Fender's also been doing wide ranges again.
I saw that. Yeah, I really just like Fender to build me one, but nobody will call me back. No, I didn't say that.
If my guy is listening.
I talked to a guy, but then it was also like right when the pandemic was happening, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, that's right. I still get good love from Lawler. They're still nice to me.
Yeah, you talked to Jimmy. Is it Jimmy over there?
Yes,
that's who I usually talk to. Yeah,
Davis. Yes.
Yeah. Yep, Jimmy Davis. I had to look. I'm like, yep, that sounds right.
Really great people over there. Like you can feel like the straight up like home vibes, like, you know.
Yeah, we were supposed to go do an episode from there, and then the pandemic. First the snowstorm, and then the pandemic.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of on hold for a while. Cool. Well, do we have any sponsors this week, Andrew?
Well, speaking of sponsors and pickups, another brand that is full of lovely people and also makes great sounds is Lambertones Pickups, based out of Yakima, Washington. Curtis is the owner, proprietor, and overall hype beast over there. Not to be confused with Paul Davids. Now, I'm not saying Curtis Lamberton is Paul Davids, but what I am saying is I haven't seen both of them in the same room, and the resemblance is uncanny. Just go look it up. Trust me on this.
I don't know. Okay, I'm fine not knowing, actually. Never mind.
Okay. So, yeah. Anyways, they make great pickups, also great people. And, go check them out.
Yeah, Andrew's building a Strat, and he's going to put some Lambertones in it.
I'm building an offset Strat.
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about Strats. What a crazy guitar, right? Like, how do you feel about Strats? Just like a Stratty McStratterson, straight up Strat.
Straight up SSS.
I like my Strat more than I thought I would.
I like positions 2 and 4.
All right, hang on. Yeah, wait. I'll play the song and y'all won't know what it is because but like it's crazy. So I played a Strat exclusively for years, right? This one. But like now I don't, and like I'm fascinated by people that can just gig with a Strat, like, and that's all they do, and like, and they're not playing like SRV bluesy or you know.
It is a blues guitar, isn't it?
Like it's people that'll just like play the bridge pickup, like, and it works for them. Like
just the bridge pickup. That's my least favorite.
Roll off the tone,
but they don't do it. Like I've got my buddy Alvin Youngblood Hart. He's a massive dude, so maybe that has something to do with it. But like, he'll just, and it doesn't sound like, it sounds great, and it doesn't sound like he's doing like Budweiser blues, and it's like I'm kind of fascinated by people that do that. Like, I love the Strat. It's like I don't think you couldn't find anything that's more quintessentially mid-century American. Like, it
would be a struggle. Yeah.
It is such an important thing. The Stratocaster is, the shape of it and the functionality of it. But I've tried like going just to gigs here in town. It was just like I was sitting in with somebody or whatever. Like I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bring a Strat, and it just is like it's hard, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely different.
It's different.
Nothing else really sounds like a Strat, I think, is so because I had a Strat for a little while there, and I sold it, and I can't get the same sounds out of anything else I've got, and it's killing me.
Yeah. Super Strat.
Yeah. That did sound very Stratocaster.
That was a Robert Plant song from the 80s. Big Log is that song.
Okay, all right.
Probably just blew out the audio again.
Actually, that one did a lot better.
Yeah, I don't have it cranked up. But yeah, I will say that when I was playing a Strat mostly, I spent, I'd say 80% of the time on the neck pickup, probably.
Yeah. I like the neck pick. I have an offset Telecaster, and I just have the Lawler Royalty in the neck. Yeah, because I like the Tele bridge. I don't really like the Tele neck, and I like the Strat neck, but I don't like the Strat bridge. So, and then it's like a Jazzmaster shape, and I'm about to put like a baritone conversion neck on it. It's going to be an adventure of a guitar. I got a Bigsby on it.
Put all the things on it.
Yeah, just big melting pot. It's my melting pot guitar project.
I put a 4-way in this Fiesta Red Tele. That's a new thing.
Yes. How do you like it?
So like the parallel or whatever, or is it series or parallel? The one is like it's loud, but I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah, it's different.
See, I really like the specialty neck pickup, the Lawler specialty. I mean, it's better than it's different than a normal Tele. But anyway, I mean, but what I came to the party for was this out of phase thing.
Yep.
I love that honk, man. That's super cool.
The first time I installed it, I messaged my friend Sean from Gun Street Wiring, and I'm like, "Is this how it's supposed to sound?" He's like, "Yep." I'm like, "Okay," because I like it. I just wasn't sure if it was correct.
It's weird because these are single coils, but it's almost kind of Peter Green. Yeah, I feel like they're making that well. If I ever have a gig again, so
I think we'll be there. I
got my first.
I'm not gonna ask you about the Hold Steady gigs coming up because I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for at least September.
Man,
I know. Who knows? One day at a time, right?
Probably Massive Nights, Brooklyn Bowl.
That's what people have been saying. Yeah.
But you know what? Honestly, I'm not going to rule out that not happening either.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we do want to look positively at things, it's not like the lack of gigs.
I'm so sorry. I'm not proud of that.
No, don't be sorry. It's not like not having gigs has stopped you guys from topping any charts. So there is that.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about this past year, because we had Steve on last year at the beginning of the pandemic, and it's been a year of big highs, massive highs, crushing lows, that kind of thing. But congratulations! The Hold Steady's newest album, Open Door Policy, debuted in the top 10 of the albums chart on Billboard. Is that right?
Yes, at number 6. I had absolutely no warning of that. like literally, like there wasn't any like, hey guys, like it's doing well. We might look to see that. It was like literally, I was on the plane flying to New York, which is weird enough in and of itself. And it was like some logistical emails that were flying back and forth, group email. And I think it was Franz just like, yeah, by the way, this is amazing, y'all. And I was like, what is it? Oh my God. And I was like, well, is this on like the dookie ass, like, off-brand chart or something? Like
the chart with 15 asterisks.
Yeah. Lots of slashes. But I was like, no, this is like Foo Fighters, Taylor Swift. It's like, Jesus.
Wow. That's a real chart.
That's a new one for me, man. Like that's not something I've experienced.
Yeah.
I mean,
does Billboard do anything nice? Do you get like a flower basket from Billboard or anything? An edible arrangement, perhaps?
Even just edibles.
Yeah. I'll take a flower at this point. Yeah, I mean, people seem to be really stoked about the record and have been kind to us for the most part.
It's a great record. Yeah.
Thank you. People either really love it or they're just like, these guys are getting old and mellow or whatever.
Or they boo the woo.
Oh yeah, the woo.
I like the woos.
Yes, lots of talk about the woos.
The woos are divisive.
Are they really?
They're a little controversial. I think most people are like, the woos grow on you, but at first you're like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, well, look, we lived it because it's just, I don't know if you saw the sound chart or whatever. It's a synth.
I had no idea. I really thought it was just like process vocals.
Not a single living being, carbon-based life form made a woo sound on that record. It's like a little Casio keyboard.
That's so funny.
I mean, look, there was a lot of debate about them in pre-production, and
I believe it.
Recording, it was like, there's people dying on hills, and for the woos. So,
do you want to share your position on the woos?
I mean, I was sort of lukewarm water, I was like,
they're gonna be so weird live, dude.
Well, no, Franz hooked it up. First of all,
when the crowd starts wooing.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's going to be, there's a lot of talk about that too. Like if there's going to be a lot of it's not cosplay, but what's it called? There's a word for it when like people act stuff out. I don't know, but anyway,
cosplay is like when they dress up. LARPing?
Yeah. No,
no.
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't. This reminded me of something else. Cosplay, like, is rockabilly like hardcore rockabilly? Is that cosplay?
No, but I do think it's what skinheads turn to after they stop being skinheads.
Oh God, yes, I've seen it. I literally, when I was in the hardcore scene in the '80s, there was a dude who wanted to kill me, and which wouldn't have been hard because I was tiny. And he was a skinhead. He was part of MASH, Memphis area skinheads. And then, I saw him like however many years ago, years later rather. And it was just, he was, all right, that was more surf than anything else, but,
psychobilly stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. He's totally, I mean, like he and his girlfriend looked like fucking, Betty Page, and they all had tattoos and, but I mean, hey, look, it's better being a skinhead.
Yeah, I mean, the bar is in hell, but it's better.
Yeah.
Like there are few. You can go lower bar than skinhead, but it's like hard.
What would be lower bar than skinhead?
Just a literal Nazi, I think.
Okay, yeah, just a total fascist, like with
yeah.
Who doesn't like
literal Nazis? Like any kind of terrorist. Skinheads are terrorists, kind of.
Somebody who might want to, I don't know, break into the Capitol building.
We're losing our skinhead audience today, Andrew. I hope you're okay with that.
I'm really, I'm like legit.
Just because I'm the Christian in the audience. That's
no. I'm just because you're the quiet one in the crowd right now.
Yes, I'm the one who's at risk of being a skinhead here.
No. I'm saying that the skinhead listeners we have are now quitting the podcast.
Right.
Okay.
Let's not get political. Sorry, I brought it up.
No, it's fine. I don't feel like anti-skinhead should be like political.
That's not political, and
being anti-Nazi is also not political.
Yeah.
Unless every good Indiana Jones movie is political.
God, again with the Indiana Jones, this is like this is a thread.
Did I mention Indiana Jones already? Oh, last week we did.
We did, yeah.
So I just got Harrison Ford on the mind as always. I guess.
And like Andrew was like he had a question, and y'all just trot upon him. Like it took so long to get through the Indiana Jones thing, and I was just like, remember Andrew's question.
What was Andrew's question?
I can't remember now.
Andrew, do you remember? I feel bad.
I'm trying to think. I remember I started to talk about like was not like it was like talking about colonialism and whatnot, and then it kind of just went.
Yeah.
That's like I was trying to bring it back to like, but there's not colonialism in when we're talking about vintage Fenders,
right? That was part of the time I was shouting at the screen.
I made Steve shout
about this.
All right, what are your thoughts about this?
I definitely agree with Mike that like something like the Gold Sparkle or whatever it was, Jaguar.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't need to go out and just be demolished on the road or anything. I mean, because like, is it going to sound that much better than it might be a really shitty Jaguar? You know, I mean,
if it's in great condition, it's that old. Maybe there's a reason.
That's the sort of the whatever, not joke, but like, you know, a really clean guitar, just clean because it didn't get played because it wasn't any good. I actually went to the Songbirds Museum. It was remarkable.
Yeah.
But I also had to really sit on my hands not to be a know-it-all asshole. Because I used to work in vintage guitars, and I had, you know, a lot to say. And like the one thing is like that we were looking at the Carina guitars, like the Explorers and the Flying Bs from the 50s. And he was talking about the story, you know, that they made them in the 50s and they weren't popular and stuff. And he was pointing to them and holding them up, but the one he was holding had nylon saddles and nickel hardware and reflector knobs. Which is so. What happened was they had some leftover bodies, Explorer bodies, and in the early '60s they just threw some hardware on, like, sell these, get rid of them. So they have early '60s spec hardware. And I couldn't help it. I was just like, so the nylon saddles, that's not 50s, right? Like, trying to like pitch it to him.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But, you know, he was doing his tour. I didn't want to, you know, fuck his vibe up or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that whole thing of like, you know, who deserves to have it and that kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah, you can cut it all kinds of different ways. I mean, you know, are you being classist or what? You know, I mean, I've been hearing these stories for decades. Like, man, there's this guy who's just got it tucked away in a vault. Nobody ever sees it, you know. And
yeah, there's lots of guitars out there.
There's lots of guitars out there.
And I personally deserve to see every single one of them.
Yeah,
I'm entitled to that.
It's my God-given right.
Yeah, because the government doesn't give me rights. God does.
I don't know.
Sorry, I saw one too many of those posts this week on social media, but just wanted to scream.
Yeah, you have a different. So I bet your feed looks a lot different than mine. My Pinko Kami feed.
Yeah, I haven't unfriended a lot of people. I've just instead started to realize that I just need to spend less time on social media. So I've just taken the habit in the last couple of weeks of just turning off my phone for hours at a time entirely.
Probably good mental health decision there is my guess.
I applaud you for that.
It's been a lot better actually, because it's so. If I really need to check something or like need to turn it on for two-factor authentication or whatever for whatever I'm working on the computer, I can wait a couple minutes for that. But I'm not going to sit there and wait for 2-3 minutes for my phone to boot up just to scroll my Facebook feed for 30 seconds and move on. So,
yeah,
I took Facebook off my phone. I still have it on my iPad, so like, you know, whatever. But I feel like not having it on my phone has been a small step.
Yeah.
I can't take it off my phone because I need it to authenticate for my Fox Cairo social media.
Yep.
To manage that.
Yeah. And it's just communication too. It's the way some people are going to choose to get in touch with you.
Yep.
You know, yeah. I took everything off a while back, and then I had to put it back on for some reason. And I reinstalled Instagram and pulled it up, and there was a DM with an offer for a gig, like a festival gig for me that would pay like $2,500. And
yeah,
I was like, well, shit, I should probably keep this. I mean, like I need for my livelihood or whatever, I need to do it.
Because unless you can set up autoresponders on your personal Facebook message that says, please email me instead or something.
Yeah.
Like I have to steer people away from like Instagram messages because I'm awful at them and I just prefer to not communicate like that. But yeah, you can't just ignore them because sometimes I'll log into my Instagram and be like, I have 15 messages.
Yeah.
And people I should not complain that people want to talk to me, but at the same time, I would prefer them communicate. I I'm just so sick of having like to check like 15 places to check for things.
For real.
I gotta check email, like my 5 email accounts. I gotta check Slack. I gotta check Instagram, Facebook, Twitter DMs. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And
I love that this episode is just
Steve
just like going through his guitar collection.
Look, see this? This is neat.
Ooh.
Tell us about it, because some people can't see it.
You should put the link in the description. Do you want to hear a long story about the K value leader?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a piano player named Otis Spann. He played like a lot of like the chess stuff, like Muddy Waters. You know, he's one of my favorite piano players, one of my favorite musicians. Period. He did a number of solo recordings. There's one record that I have. It's like one of my Desert Island records, and it's all just him singing and playing piano, except for one tune that has a guitar on it. And for decades, I've been like, I didn't know who the guitar player was. It's not credited. And then a while ago, somebody put up on YouTube this live performance from the mid 60s of Lonnie Johnson, and who I was a fan of. And I had listened to Lonnie Johnson's acoustic playing from like the 20s and 30s. By the way, Lonnie Johnson like is like the seed for so much stuff. Like there's so much that can be traced directly back to him. Like Elvis took so much from a lot of people, but from him.
Speaking of colonialism.
Yeah. That's a whole thing here. But anyway, I never heard his electric playing. So this is from the mid 60s and he's playing electric. And as soon as I heard that guitar, I was like, that's the guy. Like, I mean, there's no mistaking it. The tone and like and the phrasing and everything was like, the tune's called Another Night to Cry. And it's so amazing. It's so good. So at that point, I became obsessed with. He was playing this K value leader, one pickup. They made 1, 2, and 3 pickups, but this is what he was playing, and I had to have it. You know, unfortunately, I don't sound like Lonnie Johnson when I play it, but it's got this really cool like hollow sound. Oh, this is an open G, sort of. Really out of tune.
Nice.
But yeah, I guess these are called the Zippo pickups. These little
like the lighters.
Yeah. I used to collect Zippos.
Fun thing to collect. Yeah.
It's been a lot of money.
Yeah, I can see them being called Zippo pickups.
Yeah, right. So I mean, because of the way they're just
yep.
There was one for $500 on Reverb. They tend to sell around like the $300 range.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay over $300. I think I got this for free and change. Some people try and get like, you know, they think they're like some kind of crazy, you know, thing, but they're really. But
we call them collectors.
Reflectors.
Collectors.
They're probably just rich bankers.
Yeah. I'm
There's this, I mean, I guess it's the pickup. The certain sounds, it's really nasally. And I'm convinced that he like really gets like right like to the bridge.
Right by the bridge, yeah.
And tons of downstrokes. And like, you know, he holds the guitar like, you know, like this, like parallel to the floor kind of thing.
Yeah.
Watch the video, man. He is such a beautiful, beautiful person. Like in his speaking voice and his singing and his playing.
I will.
It's gorgeous.
That's one I haven't dug into enough. Like some of those older players like that. I don't want to call it a blind spot because it's like an awareness, but just like digging in, listening, and learning is something I would like to make a little bit more time for these days.
I'll make you a mixtape.
Yes, please. Don't do it on Spotify because I don't have Spotify.
No, I don't either. I ceremoniously stopped paying for and deleted my Spotify. I'm sure at corporate they're freaking out that I deleted my Spotify. But
I moved to Tidal. It's not much better.
I mean, you know, it's a real. I mean, look, I'm not Mr. Giant famous rock star person, but I was definitely my BMI bottom line was very much eviscerated. I mean, just like everybody, you know, but like, I mean, it's tough, man. So I just like, I mean, I don't like the interface of Spotify anyway. I was just like, why am I giving them their money, my money, when they're taking it away from me or whatever?
Yeah. I basically use Spotify to listen to music I bought, but like on the go.
Right. It's
making
tough,
playlists
man.
and stuff. I like it for discovery, but then I just like would prefer to pay for things.
You know, I had so much weird shit that wasn't ever available commercially. Like there was a glorious moment where I had my Airport Extreme and the little expresses around the house, and I had, you know, a hard drive with all my music that was in iTunes, and like I could play it. But then, like, you know, I switched computers and I lost all the metadata, and everything was just track one, etc.
Yeah, I hate that, man.
And then, I had it all on an iPod, and that iPod finally died. But like, you know, I have all these weird recordings of like, you know, my dad and his friends playing on the local community radio station. It's like, that's not going to be on Spotify.
Sure.
No.
You know, unless I put it out.
Put it in the cloud.
Put it in the cloud.
Everything goes into the cloud.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Is that from? Oh my God! Which one is that from?
I don't know.
Schwarzenegger last week.
True Lies.
I love True Lies. It's my favorite Schwarzenegger movie. My favorite part is when Jamie Lee Curtis is doing the striptease, and then she falls, and you can see Arnold start to get up to help her because that was not in the script, and she just jumps back up. Like, that was all ad-libbed. I will forever love her for that scene.
She's a very agile person.
Yes. I'll also forever love her for telling me about Activia.
That's right. her and her gut.
Oh yeah, her and those probiotics. Love it so much.
Shields do a thing for IBS.
Maybe. Let me Google that. Yep. It might have been like Crohn's or something too. I don't know.
Yes, baby.
I'm not actually going to click on any of these links in Google. So I wanted to talk while we just have a little bit more time left. I want to talk about these live streaming gigs that the whole city did for the Brooklyn Bowl Massive Nights and the Weekender, because for people who don't know, it's done through something called fans.live, and you pay, you get a link, you get to watch the band play in real time, and you can also join a Zoom room. And if you have your webcam on, so you can have the show on one screen, the Zoom on the other screen, and sometimes your video gets featured and you get to see other fans in the Zoom room, and then the band sees you live sometimes because you get put up on the screens. What's that like?
Man, it's so many things. I mean, it's weird because like for the Weekenders, like we'd done it already, so we sort of knew what to expect.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it felt normal, but you know.
But it wasn't a surprise.
Yeah, it's funny because like it can be distracting because I'm just like a flickering image is gonna, you know, get me distracted or whatever, and so like, you know, I could be just playing along. It's like, oh, there's so and so, and then fuck up, like, you know, like just like really had to like just focus on, you know, kind of looking forward. I mean, it was sweet to see everybody, you know, because you know what is the whole steady, like we have a pretty beautiful community, and wherein like, you know, we know people, and it's not just nameless faces or whatever, you know. There's people that we've kind of gone, you know, sort of lived our lives with to some extent. And so it's just good to see their faces, you know, in motion, totally. You know,
human connection.
From a fan perspective, that's great too, because obviously we all know each other as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but I just told everybody it's equal parts absolutely beautiful and totally dystopian. You know, just like a room full of flickering images and faces moving. It's like super Blade Runner in some respects.
And then sometimes there's like two turtles doing it.
Some people say that was not that the bottom turtle was.
That's not much better. So it was turtle and turtle sex doll then.
Yeah, exactly. Desperate turtles.
So for those who don't know, which is like nobody knows, during the one. It was so weird.
Let me back up and say, just like to anybody who might have a sex doll, that like I didn't mean to infer that you're desperate, because like maybe like that's your kink and you want to have a sex doll. It's like
it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that. It's just it's funny when it's a turtle doing it. So people would like put their pets on the stream because Craig asked people to put their pets on, and someone had a turtle. And then it just like it was like they stuck with this turtle mounting what appeared to be another turtle.
I thought it was another turtle. I thought it was two live turtles.
I thought it was two turtles. And it became like it was just from the Massive Nights back in December. It became like the what's the mascot almost of it. Yeah.
It was,
and y'all very quickly released a shirt that was two turtles.
It also happened right towards the very end of the last night.
Yeah.
Like night 3. Well, yeah. I mean, that was the thing too. Cause like, you'd be playing, like you'd look and you'd see just people just, yeah. It's like, cool. And you look again and it'd be like a golden retriever, just like completely asleep, you know?
I'll be back in 2 seconds. I got to fix the telly for the kiddo.
Television, not guitar, unfortunately. Yeah. So,
I'm more curious as to what your experience was.
I think it's really great. I'm very glad that you all did those and were able to. It sounded really good. It looked really good. It was a lot of fun. And I think that within probably the first few minutes of experience, like any like doubts I had about whether or not this would be fun or cool or good, like the doubts were gone immediately.
Right. Because it's not a show. It's not a.
Yeah. It's not a show, but I mean, I have also always liked watching music DVDs and stuff. Sure, and that's just something I remember I dated a guy in college and I was like, hey, you want to come over and watch something? He's like, yeah, as long as it's not like a music thing. And I was like,
we're done.
I'll call somebody else.
Yeah, you're better than me.
I was like, I just got this cool Stax DVD I really wanted to watch.
Right. I mean, I've watched the song Remain the Same probably 300,000 times at this point.
Yeah. How many people have watched The Last Waltz 15,000 times? Right.
Oh, I think they overdub 15,000 times on the music too.
Well, they do for us in City Limits too, so it's fine.
Yeah. No, but I mean, honestly, there were times where I got very emotional.
Same.
Seeing people and I don't know, and also just sort of thinking about. I would sort of think about like. This sounds like really like corny and high-minded or whatever, but like there's a disco ball at Brooklyn Bowl. And so the lights were on the disco ball and like, you know how it is beforehand, like, like there's just all these little dots. And I just saw all those little dots as all these people that aren't there. You know what I mean? And I got really really emotional about it,
Yeah.
But then there they were,
I mean, I think I was probably crying within the first 15 minutes of the first show, at least. Like, and people would post like in the chat, because Zoom also had a chat.
Right.
Things like, "I'm not crying, you're crying, we're all crying." We are all crying. Yeah. I did that one. I did that joke once.
And it's weird because because I wasn't looking at an audience and whatever, whether you choose to, how you choose to interact, like look at somebody or not look at somebody or whatever else. Like I would look at my bandmates, maybe more so than a show before or whatever, and like, it just the killer parties. I mean, the end, the we are all.
Yeah.
It was surreal. I couldn't help but just to look at Finn.
Yeah.
And it was heavy. I mean, it was moving and like just it was a lot of things, and like every night it was the same thing. It was like because it's just there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, y'all are there, but there's nobody. There's a physical. I don't have the language for it.
Well, I mean, there's just like a palpable like something in the like more than just the people when it was the live show. There's
a disconnect.
There's a palpable connection within the entire room. Just I don't know if aura is the right term. That sounds super hippie of me, but I mean,
it's fine. Yeah.
That's exactly you can't replace that digitally. I don't think.
No. And also, I mean, we're just fortunate to be able to do it. If this is all we can do, like, I mean,
it's better than nothing.
Yeah. And I just don't, I think the fan base allowed it to be as good as it was. Like,
yeah. I mean, like I know Maren Morris did one, like, I think around the time you were doing it. I'm like, I would like to see that. But I also am like, I don't know if it would feel the same.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. Because like the community aspect of it, it's not just like, oh, I'm watching this slick show and like, we're sending out to you. It's like, and there's crowd shots or whatever. It's like, seeing
the whole study's about community and when
exactly.
you can't convene.
Yeah. There's so much more of a coming together. We can get together.
Evan is whatever.
I think that's kind of along the same lines of what a lot of people like take issue with, like digital church. Is like you go, unless you're just really detached from your church community. Like you go to church, you sit through the sermon, worship service, and you talk to people. You go out to lunch, and you get to connect with everybody. And like a healthy church community has to have that aspect. And I remember when we sat down back in 2019 after the show, and I had just experienced a Hold Steady show for the first time and was kind of processing. I remember thinking like, I don't know if like the right word is to describe it was like, it's a cult or if it's a church or if it's a little bit of both is kind of the thoughts that were going through my head, because there's very much that palpable community that honestly is stronger than a lot of churches that I've attended regularly. There's truly something magical you guys got going on there.
It's true. And we make the music, but like the community does so much of the heavy lifting, I feel like. But it's just a loop, it's a symbiotic relationship. And I can't imagine what kind of puddle it's going to be when everybody gets in a room together.
Everyone's gonna go so hard and cry
this
so
event
much.
Sponsored by Kleenex.
Get so drunk. Just get so drunk. I think some people are gonna have to get carried out.
We're gonna be like, it's gonna be like, halfway through the set, and it's just like half the crowd's gone, like just like
passed out on the ground.
Yeah, crying. Yeah.
When we throw in confetti, it won't fly quite right because it'll just be wet. It'll just go up and straight down.
I can remember, doing Hood Rat and just like being like, there's no confetti.
I know. That's like I would listen to, that was on my songs on my running playlist. So I would do runs and I would just be running. And then it would get to that point. And I would just like raise my arms up. Like I had fistfuls of confetti.
Yeah, right.
Did not.
No confetti cannons.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing next. Like in the immediate future. I mean, we talked about some stuff, but I guess just continuing to sort of remotely promote.
So, I mean, there's a remote promote, but you guys also have a global audience. I guess, has there been any discussion about what it would look like to travel to quarantine and then play a show at a country that's miles ahead of where the U.S. is at, such as like Australia?
Yeah, well, we were supposed to go to Australia in 2020. I haven't heard anything. I just think that, well, are Americans allowed in other countries yet? I mean, like,
you have to. I think Australia, you just have to quarantine for 2 whole weeks. So that's like a long. That's expensive.
That's not viable for us. I mean, like that's a lot of, because you're talking about per diems and hotel stuff. That would be we wouldn't make we would hemorrhage money doing that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like Australia was going to be like a pretty lean situation anyway from an overhead standpoint. So I mean, from what I've seen, everything just keeps getting pushed back. I mean, I don't know what's officially canceled and what's, I mean, the dates just keep changing.
Yeah. I know First Ave is scheduling shows for September, announcing shows for September.
That one hurt, man, because we were going to do the 50th. That's a special stage, obviously.
You might have to tell Andrew. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah. Well, they filmed Purple Rain there. If I told you my story about like the first time I played First Ave and all that.
No, you told us when you saw Prince on the Love Sexy tour. I think it was
right. He busted.
Yeah.
So it was like 4th of July weekend, and I was just, I had just joined the Hold Steady, and so like I'd never played First Ave before, so it was, and it was a big day, because like I was at that point touring with my old Highwire, and it kept blowing up. So like they knew the guys at Twin Tone, the music store there, and it was Sunday, and it was July 4th. Like, you couldn't be more closed as a store than on Sunday, July 4th. And the dude opened up the store, and I bought like 50 watt Marshall, or the band bought it and I paid it back, but like 50 watt Marshall Plexi, a Hendrix Marshall cab from the slant cab from the Hendrix, fucking amazing cab, and a white AC30 hand wired. So like I had this amazing, unusually loud rig. Like I would so not be allowed to play that shit anymore. Like
no,
the dream is over, man. But anyway, I was just running my mouth about being excited about playing First Avenue. I was just to my many Neapolitan friends, and they're like, oh, yeah. And I was like, God damn, man, it's gonna be so crazy, like to go down that hallway and like see all those dressing rooms. And they're like, dude, there's no hallway with dressing rooms. It's like one off the side of the stage. I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, that was all in Los Angeles. I was like, fair enough. Okay. But still.
Was that when they had was it Prince's parking space or something?
I didn't see that. So
I don't know if that's true. Actually, no, that's not true. That's not true. They didn't have that. That was at Paisley Park, that picture. Oh right. Man. Yeah. Though I remember seeing y'all at the 7th Street entry, and that was pretty cool. Man. That was very hot.
Yeah, a stark contrast to the Surly Fest gig that happened. That was
my God. Right? That was so cold.
Oh,
and my friend just cut in line in the bathroom after he got off stage, and I was like, Lindley,
man,
just walked right in front of you.
I had like a leather jacket and a pea coat on top of that, and like
and the hand warmers. I remember you showed me those.
Yeah, I remember I had a drink on stage, Jack and ice, and like the ice the ice was the exact same.
If not more.
It was more of a slushy by that point.
That was a fun weekend for a lot of reasons. Hope we have a lot more of those really soon, because I can't keep living off the fumes of past things. Like I gotta play shows with my band, man. I miss playing shows too. Mine are smaller and less dedicated people, but
still, I mean, look, when I play in town, there's like, I'm lucky to have 20 people there, but like it's in a tiny little, bar, but I miss it. I miss that as much, if not more. I've played a few gigs here and there. I do this recovery service that we've been, forced to kind of keep it going online. And, it's good to play with the people. Still not quite the same, but
sure.
the church gig is kind of on and off as well. And yeah, and I did some streaming shows like everybody else in the summer.
Yeah, my band's trying to do another one of those because you can't do them very often.
Right.
You really have to space them out because it's the same audience every time.
Yeah. I'm really lost not nerve, but I really just could not bring myself to do another one. And it was also I was set to do a third one. I mean, they went well enough. I mean, playing by myself with all my weird little drum machines and shit, but I was set to do another one. And then we just kind of went straight into the summer of racial reckoning, and I was
yeah,
it didn't feel like, I just didn't want to be hey, whiz bangs, happy to do, here's my Venmo.
No, we delayed our album release to November because of everything that was happening.
I just wondered how if things just full stop open back up, how if that one person's going to be hey, I'm doing a streaming show, fuck you. I don't want to see that. I'm not, I mean, what I liked about it was because I did mine on weekdays.
Yeah.
And, I like the idea of you could have your iPad open in your kitchen while you're cooking, and hooked up to your speaker. Somebody's playing. That was cool, but I don't know. I just don't see it continuing.
Sure.
No.
I mean, yeah. Continuing also just the degree to which it's been able to take off has been so limited. And I think, one of the reasons if we're being really honest, is for the folks that have remained gainfully employed in a remote situation. I mean, we spend so much of our time in meetings on Teams, on Zoom, on Google Meet, on WebEx, Blue Jeans, insert conferencing platform here. You're staring at, the whole week you're just staring at people talk, and it can be, there's a fatigue that comes with that. And so you don't want that to then also be your source of entertainment, of relaxation. Because it's melding the two in a really kind of uncool way. The same way, I've become increasingly very unrelaxed. Before the pandemic, I would come in here and sit down and play guitar, and this is my fun space. Now I'm this is my office. This is where I get work done. This is how I feed my family.
Right.
And I sit down in this chair now. I feel this sense of okay, well, I've got this presentation on Tuesday. I've got to prepare for it. So the same sense of just how much bleed there is. I can't imagine people wanting to maintain that bleed over.
Am I at work or am I what? Why am I? Yeah. Well, and just literally from a physical standpoint, it's just your eyes, your eyeballs. It's
those blue reflect lenses. Got to get them.
Yeah. These are not prescription. These are blue blockers. But
wow,
I get headaches at this point if the amount of time I spend in front of screens.
My daughter's, doing the virtual learning.
Oof.
Although I think she's going back, in-person learning. But I don't know. Anyway, just who knows where we're going to be at. But
I'm cautiously optimistic. I admit I'm cautiously optimistic that it's going to be here sooner rather than later. But I've also felt that way more than once. And so I definitely feel I've gone through the stages of fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And then a few more steps past that.
Yeah. It's funny because I was all this Facebook memories shit's coming up, and it's coming up. It's a year. We're into it.
Yep.
It's been a year, and I remember, we were all talking about lost gigs and stuff. And I remember somebody commenting, thinking I think it's going to be May. We'll be back in May. It's yeah, right.
May 2022.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I might, come on stage with a walker by the time we get the full steam ahead. But
you should just do that for fun.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be I don't know.
Steal James Brown's shtick.
With the cape and everything?
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story about that.
Please.
My dad was a big fan of that routine.
Yeah.
And when I was in the 3rd grade, there was a talent show, and he was like, "Here's what you got to do," and he explained the whole thing. So I was like, "Okay," but like, it got a little lost in translation. So when it came time for me to do my thing, there was no James Brown music, and there was no other people. There was no cape. I just kind of like made these grunting sounds and like would get down to the ground and spring back up. And it was sort of like performance, I guess. But I just like, and I started to kneel down. And I did not make the audition. That was the audition. I did not make it into
the audition.
Didn't make it into the talent show with that routine.
Oh my God.
But you committed.
The commitment is impressive and good. I respect it.
I respect that.
I respect that.
Nobody knew. God, I remember that so well because I remember this one girl, Marquita. She was so sweet. She sang "I'm Coming Up," which was really cool. She made the cut. I did not make the cut. But yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'll revisit that.
Yeah.
The music propless James Brown imitation.
Amazing. On that note, I think it's about time to wrap it up. I actually have to be somewhere at 11. Yeah. So to everyone else, Steve, firstly, thanks for joining. Where can people find you? What do you want to promote?
Like, can find you on the charts.
Yeah. Well, now I don't know. We've probably fallen off by this point. God, I feel like I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't have a podcast. I should do that. So I can promote that. I don't know what my YouTube channel would look like though. Just me being scattered, I guess. Yeah, Instagram, Steve Selvidge. Follow me. Say hello. For social media, buy the whole Steady record. I am actually, just to get this in at the last minute, I'm revamping my dad's old label from the 70s, Peabody Records. And
oh, cool.
I, like every other single living musician in the world, found myself in the middle of a pandemic project. So with my friend Luther Dickinson and our friend Paul Taylor. So I am going to put that out on Peabody Records, hopefully sometime in the summer. I'm not sure. That remains to be determined. But
we'll keep an eye out for it.
Nice.
Look to my social media at dawn.
On the 6th day.
The 6th day.
Nice. Well, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Just find me. Reach out.
Find Steve. Reach out.
Yeah, it's always great being with y'all. So much fun. So thanks for having me again.
Yeah. Well, to everybody out there watching, thanks for watching. And to everybody out there listening, Andrew.
Thanks for listening.
And thanks for understanding. Until next time, my name is Emily.
My name is Andrew.
That's Steve. Goodbye.
Bye.